Mahabharata, Chapter 26, Part 5. Ghatotkaca carries the Pandavas to Badarika ashram. Reassured by Lomasha's words, Yudhishthir and his brothers, along with Draupadi, followed the rishi through the forest. Behind them walked their attendants, headed by Indrasena, the brothers' longtime intimate servant. He had also gone with them into the forest. The Brahmins followed the servants, and the party formed a long line through the undergrowth. Gradually, they visited many sacred tirthas and bathed in numerous holy rivers and lakes. They offered oblations to their ancestors and heard spiritual instructions from the ascetics living at the sacred holy sites. The brothers also heard fascinating accounts of kings and rishis of former ages associated with all the holy places. When they reached the Himalayas, Lomasha warned the party to proceed with caution. There is Mount Meru and the peaks of Kailas, Gandhamadan, Trishinga, and Makaragira. Then he said, pointing ahead to the splendid mountain rising into the clouds, "Here reside thousands of invisible celestial beings. The Kimpurushas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Suparnas, Nagas, and Rakshasas, all as swift as the wind and as powerful as 1,000 mighty elephants, all move about on these mountain ranges. Sinful humans cannot gain access here, for they will simply be destroyed by these celestials." As Lomasha prayed to the gods for protection, Yudhishthir said to Bhim, "Carefully guard Draupadi, my dear brother. She always seeks and deserves your protection. She does so when she is afraid. We shall now proceed into these sacred mountains. By virtue of our asceticism and the pious merits we have earned through sacrifice, may we all be allowed to approach this holy region." Lomasha had told the brothers that they would meet Arjuna in these mountains when he descended from heaven. They would meet him on the summit of Gandhamadana mountain. Thus they decided to go there and await Arjuna's arrival. The path to the mountain peak, however, was fraught with danger. Lomasha asked Yudhishthir to tell his servants and most of the Brahmins to stay back. Bhima then placed Draupadi on his shoulders, and the party, with only a few Brahmanas, made their way into the Himalayan range. They went along rocky mountain paths. The terrain was rugged and the climb arduous. At last they came to the Alakananda River, which is said to descend to the earth from the heavens. They worshipped the holy river and bathed in its crystal clear waters. The brothers looked around at the brilliant scenery. They looked around at what surrounded them on the high mountain plateau. It seemed as if they had arrived on a heavenly planet. Blossoming trees of every color gave off celestial fragrances. The ground was carpeted with soft bluish grass and expanses of wild flowers. Transparent lakes filled with blue lotus and crowded with swans and chakravaks lay amid groves of fruit trees. The musical sounds of cuckoos, peacocks, and countless other birds filled the air. Lomasha told the Pandavas that Lord Indra himself came daily to this region in order to perform rituals and prayers. The brothers saw in the distance what appeared to be a number of massive white mountains. But Lomasha told them it was the bones of Naraka, a mighty asura whom Lord Vishnu had slain in a past age. The Rishi related the story as they traveled onward toward Gandhamadan. As they approached the mountain, the path became increasingly difficult. Leaving behind the heavenly terrain, they moved slowly along snowbound and rocky paths. Suddenly, a violent wind blew up, filling the air with dust and dry leaves, blinding the Pandavas. Bhima held onto Draupadi, who became terror-stricken as she heard great trees crashing to the ground all around them. It felt as if the mountain itself was being torn asunder by some celestial power. Each of them sought whatever shelter they could find beneath rocks and huge shala trees. When the dust storm subsided, rain fell in torrents. Rivulets and streams began to flow everywhere, covered in froth and mud. As the rain continued, the streams grew louder and wider and began to carry away trees and bushes. The sky was thick with black clouds, throwing out quick lightning, which, despite the ferocity of the storm, seemed to play with grace upon the mountainside. Gradually, the storm abated and the sky cleared. The sun shone brightly and steam began to rise from the ground. The travelers emerged from their hiding places and reunited, continuing on toward Gandhamadan. But Draupadi was exhausted, and she felt she could not go any further. Overwhelmed, she fainted and fell to the ground. Like a plantain tree uprooted by the wind, Nakula rushed forward and caught her as she fell, and laid her gently on the deerskin which Sahadev had spread out. Yudhishthira then said, "How can this beautiful lady, accustomed to every luxury, sleep now on the ground? Her delicate hands and feet have turned blue with cold as she lies there exhausted. Alas, this is all my doing. Addicted to dice, I have acted foolishly and brought great suffering on those I love. King Drupada bestowed this princess upon us in the hope that she would be happy. Now she lies prostrate on the ground in this fearful wilderness." Lomasha Rishi and Domya recited appropriate mantras capable of destroying all ills. Nakula gently fanned Draupadi, while Sahadeva massaged her feet. As she slowly regained consciousness, Yudhishthira consoled her. He looked at Bhima. "O mighty armed one, how shall we carry on? Many rugged and icy paths lie ahead. I do not think that Draupadi will be able to tolerate the journey." Bhima suggested that they summon Ghatotkaca. "My son is powerful and can carry us through the skies, O king. Simply order me, and I shall bring him here just by thought alone." Yudhishthira agreed, and Bhima sat down, meditating upon his son. As soon as Ghatotkaca was remembered, he appeared before Bhima and stood with folded palms. He bowed at his father's feet and saluted the other Pandavas reverently. After an affectionate welcome, Ghatotkaca said, "O sinless ones, my father has summoned me, and I am ready to do your bidding. Please command me." Bhima embraced his son. "O invincible hero, O child, we are proceeding to the peak of Mount Gandhamadhan, where we shall again see our brother Arjuna. Mother Draupadi is worn out with fatigue and cannot continue. Nor shall we find it easy ourselves to follow the tortuous mountain paths, as they are covered by ice and snow. You should therefore carry us through the skies." Ghatotkaca bowed. "With pleasure. I have at my command hundreds of sky-ranging Rakshasas. O father, I shall carry Mother Draupadi, while other Rakshasas will carry you and your brothers and all these Brahmanas." Ghatotkaca gently placed Draupadi on his shoulders. He looked upon her as he would look upon his own mother, Hidimbi. Other huge-bodied Rakshasas suddenly appeared and picked up the travelers. Loma Sharishi, however, rose unaided into the sky by his own mystic power. He appeared like a second sun planet. The Rakshasas flew swiftly through the heavens along the path of the Siddhas. As the party traveled, they saw beneath them the beautiful lands inhabited by Vidyadharas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Gandharvas, and other divine beings. They saw a great forest intersected by rivers and filled with elephants, bears, apes, rurus, surabhi cows, and buffaloes. They passed over the country of the Uttarakurus. Finally, they all arrived at Gandhamadana mountain. The Rakshasas took them high onto the mountain to Badarika Ashram, the ancient hermitage of Nara and Narayana rishis. The Pandavas gazed around in wonder. Even though they were high in the mountains, the entire region was adorned with celestial trees, all in full blossom. They then saw the great Badari tree spread out like a vast umbrella of lush green foliage. That is where the ashram had derived its name. The tree exuded freshness and calm, and invited shelter beneath its boughs. Its branches were loaded with ripened fruits. Colorful birds intoxicated with honey falling from the fruits flew in and out of the tree, filling the air with music. The Pandavas approached the Badari tree with folded palms. It was surrounded by soft bluish-green grass. Countless thatched cottages, dwellings of numerous rishis, stood around the tree. The whole region was lit by its own effulgence, requiring nothing, neither sunlight nor moonlight. It was free from excessive heat and cold. Thus the brothers felt both their physical pains and their mental anxieties dissipating. Even their hunger and thirst abated, their minds now filled with a deep peace. As they looked about, they noticed the many sacrificial altars tended by the ascetics, and they heard Brahmins chanting in melodious voices. Nearby, the cool and clear waters of the Ganges flowed on its way to Bharatavarsha, descending from heaven. Some of the foremost rishis living in that hermitage came forward to receive the Pandava travelers. By their mystic vision, they already knew who these guests were, and after accepting obeisances, honored them with offerings of pure water, fruits, and flowers. Yudhishthir thanked Ghatotkaca and his followers and asked them to remain with them until they returned to the Kamyaka forest. On the advice of Lomasha and Dhaumya, the Pandavas took up residence with the rishis in order to await Arjuna's arrival. They passed their time hearing the many rishis' discourses on spiritual subject matters. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.